Hi, Vieira with the Stock Market Live.tv. Today we are going to comment on Stock Market Review 2015, namely the existence of some articles in some popular websites in the US, CNN Money and Business Insider. The 2015 it has been one of the worst years for the hedge fund industry. Several funds closed doors. You have seen redemptions in 2015, while at Stock Market Live.tv we had one of the best years in the markets in our history in the past 25 years. One of my predictions that was made in the first half of 2015, and bear in mind I'm not going to make an extensive review of the 2015 for a simple reason. I dedicated plenty of videos teaching investors how to invest in the markets during the course of this year, and I believe that was by far more important than to make a review, because to make a review after the fact anyone can make it, and you are going to see it on Business Insider and CNN, but to tell which are the worst stocks in 2015 or the best stocks in 2015 that has value by the end of 2014, or at least maximum the beginning of 2015, and not by the end of 2015 when the year is about to finish. The first article, and I'm going to position here myself in order to comment, that I would like to refer to is this one, the title, "The Trades That Killed Hedge Funds in 2015. Business Insider. You can read the article, I'm not going to do it, and it starts by saying it has been a horrible year for the hedge fund industry. There has been numerous highly published hedge fund closings and redemptions in 2015, as I said. Why is this important? It is important for several reasons. The most important is the fact that this title corresponds to one of my predictions in the first half of 2015, that the American hedge fund industry would see one of their worst years ever. Here you have the confirmation of it. December 25, 2015, Christmas Day in the US, and you have it here on Business Insider. Other prediction that we made with regards to the best and worst stocks of 2015, you have an article dedicated with this title, "The Worst Stocks of 2015," and we are going to start with number one. And number one, surprise, surprise, which is not a surprise if you have been following us at StockMarketLive.tv, is precisely the stock that I said priority number one for the total collapse, the crash, the meltdown, Chesapeake Energy, and this stock declined basically 80% in 2015, the number one. The number two, other major company, very well known, and you have plenty of articles in our website with regards how to invest in this company, Freeport-McMoRan, for the past years. Performance 2015 down 73%. Stock number three, Fossil Group, 2015 performance down 70%. Well, and so on. So according to this article on CNN Money, we nailed the three worst stocks of 2015, and precisely on the short side. But, and I also think that this is rather relevant, this article is very, very incomplete, because it does not mention stocks like, or companies like Twitter that crashed, companies like Yelp that collapsed, companies like Apple Group, and I could give you here a list, extensive list of more than 50 leading US companies that they collapsed, they melted more than 50, 70, 80%. For example, the case of Apple Group is a stock that melted more than 90%, and it is not here in this list. So something is wrong, but that is a problem or a concern of CNN, that they don't know how to report correctly the news. If you have questions with regards to this matter, you just have to visit to refer to the charts with regards to these US companies and how to invest on them. So you have plenty of articles completely free teaching and calling the crash in these US companies. And I'm referring to leading companies. I'm not referring to small companies. I'm referring to leading companies, the Twitters, the Yelps, the Apple Groups, I repeat, and so on, extensive list, more than 50 companies in the US. So this article is very incomplete, but this is typical of the Americans to write what they want to write about and not to report the correct data. Moreover, there is a third article that I'm not going here to obviously to go through all of them, that precisely says that despite the fact that the broader market in the US remained flat during the course of 2015, which also it is not correct, since by August 2015, all of you remember that there was a stock market crash, and so the article does not refer to it for obvious reasons. It is not direct, let's say, interest of the Federal Reserve in the US and several other institutions, but the fact is that major companies like Apple, they didn't go anywhere. The article does not mention it. A company that collapsed, crashed, obviously not 70%, Apple was not going to crash 70%, but collapsed. It lost more than 160 billion in market cap, and the article does not mention. I found it quite frankly surprising, even for a company like CNN or CNBC, that they are looking for to report correct data, not to mention these historical facts, because these are historical facts that they are going to be there for always. In 2015 they occurred, and no one can forget about it, other than the losers that they try always to find arguments and excuses for their lousy performance. So this, what I'm just referring to, that is the fact that despite what they say, that the broad market didn't go anywhere or remained flat during the course of 2015, a great number of US companies, they lost more than 50% of their value. And this is other prediction that I made in the first half of 2015 and last year in 2014, when I called the crash, for example, in leading companies in the US, such as Micron, a bubble, stock bubble, or the collapse of Keurig Green Mountain Coffee. Just to name a few, there are plenty, and again, you just refer to the material that exists on the website. So I'm not surprised at all. This is what I've just been referring to or mentioning here is material that exists in some websites in the US, but very incomplete, and is not surprising since we are talking about American companies. Our company is not American, therefore it is normal, completely normal, that is not in this article or on news. Quite the opposite. Like I said, we had, and I'm very proud of it, to have the best, or one of the best years in the markets in the past 25 years. And to finalize, a fact which it is even far more important for investors today, these news are referring to the past. Today, for example, these companies that you are seeing here, Chesapeake Energy or Southwestern Energy, it is other of our stock picks where we have not yet published the case study, or Freeport-McMoRan. There are plenty of cases on Freeport-McMoRan, but bear in mind that if you go through this list, you find Ensco, you find here Murphy Oil, you find Marathon Oil. All these stocks, they were being addressed here at stockmarketlive.tv, and the list is by far more complete than this. These are just 10 companies. We are Newmont Mining, companies that they are not mentioned here, but they are equally important. But I was going to say, and it has to be part of Stock Market Review 2015, we are light years ahead of these individuals or institutions. Why? Because for these companies, today, investors, customers in our company, they already have information how to invest in these companies going into 2016. And that is the value. We are always ahead of everyone else. It does not have any value whatsoever to tell you which were the worst stocks of 2015. It has value if you tell me which are going to be the worst stocks of 2015, for example, or next year, if you tell me in January 2016, or at most in February 2016. Otherwise, you are reporting to the past. Therefore, the existence of these articles is just to confirm the value of our track record. So, our customers today already know how to invest in the markets going into 2016, which is not the objective of these articles. And this is our review with regards to how to invest in the markets in 2015. We dedicated more than 350 articles to more than 100 leading US companies, but not only in the US stock market, also in Brazil, in Europe, in the Nikkei, in Japan, in China, which I consider relevant since we do not focus entirely or only in the US, quite the opposite today. I believe that is also part, or it has to be part of our work, the confirmation of our predictions, that all of them materialized during the course of 2015. With regards to 2016, quite frankly, I think that it will be extraordinarily difficult for us to achieve a better year. I'm not aware of any company or any individual in the world, in this industry, that can prove the market calls that we made in the past 25 years, all of them recorded live, and this to be the difference between us and everyone else. You have here examples, in particular on Business Insider in this article, hedge funds that they lost more than $2 billion in 2015, which I consider absolutely unbelievable, since they claim themselves to be professionals instead of gamblers. Someone that loses $2 billion in the markets, quite frankly, has some serious problem, and that is not only related to how to manage the capital or his capital, because in fact he's not doing anything with regards to his capital, others are losing money, their own money, but that is entirely their concern. I already addressed this, in fact, not only related to hedge funds, but also to investment firms. So when people today, individuals, they look for these companies and they believe that they can make money, we continue sending them prospects, since it appears that people, they have to lose entirely their capital until they believe and see these kind of articles with these titles, very explicit, very transparent. But those losers that they believe always on excuses, they always have one, and that one is bad luck in 2015. Well, if that is the case, we are the luckiest guys in the world, and thank you today for the wonderful performance and the best year, or one of the best years ever in the past 25 years. And certainly you, on the other hand, or to be on the other side of the market or of our opinions, you helped us to achieve these results. And I directly say this on the highs of anyone who has been on the other side of the trade, that I'm very proud that you have been on the other side, because without you we will not certainly be today where we are. Thank you and good luck going into 2016 in the markets.